Okay guys, so this is a short video to show you how to set up your Google Analytics from the initial setup. So very recently, on the 14th of October 2020, Google Analytics have started rolling out their new Google Analytics setup, which is referred to as GA4. Now with Google Analytics 4, there is a new form of tracking and a new tracking code that then comes with that. The previous version of Google Analytics was referred to as Universal Analytics, and the tracking code for Universal Analytics always started with UA. Now, the problem we have at the moment with the new GA4 Analytics, which provides a small tracking code of GA at the start, is it doesn't allow us to link that with Google Blogger in an easy fashion, i.e. going to the settings in Google Blogger and simply pasting in that very shorthand code of UA and a number of letters. So in order for us to be able to utilize that function in Google Blogger, we also need to set up a Universal Analytics account in parallel with the new Google Analytics 4 version of the product. So here I am in the setup screen. I've just signed up for a Google Analytics account. I've just logged in, so this is me going through the process of signing up here. So it's asking me for an account name. I've just put initials in there and then click on next. It's now asking me about my property, and I entered that name for the property. So I'm linking this with Google Blogger, so I'll just put Blogger in there at the moment, as this is just a test. I don't have a specific website I've actually created there. I'm in the United Kingdom, so that's all fine there, and Great British Pounds is a currency, so that's all fine too. What you then need to do is click on this tab here, Show Advanced Options. So I had already clicked on that, but this is what you need to be clicking on here. So this is setting up your new Google Analytics 4 property. But we need to click on this one so that we see here, create a Universal Analytics property. And the Universal Analytics property is part of an earlier version of Google Analytics, and it supports web measurement. It isn't recommended for new analytics users, and it won't support app measurement. Turn this on if you'd like to create a Universal Analytics property. Well, in order to use that shorthand code in Google Blogger, we need to turn that on. And at this point here, this is where we will add our Blogger website. So you would type in whatever your URL is. I'm just putting an example here, .blogspot.com. And then you have the option of create both a Google Analytics 4 and a Universal Analytics property. This will create two properties with connected site tags, so you only need to tag your website once. So it's useful just to simply create this anyway, as we assume that Google Blogger will be updated to enable us to utilize the Google Analytics 4 property tag. So it's useful to create both of them so that when we go that bit further down the line, when Google Analytics 4 becomes a bit more widespread and it's not just initially launched, that we are able to actually use the Google Analytics 4 tracking code as well. If you, for whatever reason, you didn't want to use the Google Analytics 4 and also have a Universal Analytics property, if you didn't want to create both of them, you can just simply click on create a Universal Analytics property only, and that will take you forward. You click on next, give a little bit of information about your site or your business, and then simply hit create. And that's all we have to do. Once we get through into the next stage, we then have a drop down to select between both of our different properties that we've created, either looking at the Google Analytics 4 property or the Universal Analytics property. So I've skipped on here to logging into my Google Analytics, and here I can see this property here, which is in Google Analytics. What we can see here is if we click along here, we then get to the properties and apps stage, And here you can see the GA4 analytics for this particular property. And then here you can see the UA analytics for this property. And that's where we have selected to create both a GA4 and also a UA universal analytics property. So for your Google Blogger data for the time being, it would be simply clicking on this one here to be able to link with that shorthand code. Now, for example, if we wanted to use a slightly more sophisticated way of linking Google Analytics with Google Blogger without using that shorthand code, we could simply go down to the admin area. And once we get into the admin area, we get here to data streams. And then we click on our website stream. And then in here you have your new GA4 measurement ID up the top. But down here, we can go to this section here, tag and instructions, click the drop down, simply copy this here. Then we move over to Google Blogger. And in Google Blogger, we can then see all of our options at the back end here. We would normally go to settings, and then we would normally go to Google Analytics Property ID and paste that UA ID with all the different numbers, for example. But what we can't do is we can't paste that new Google Analytics ID with all the numbers in here, as it won't be accepted. So what we would have to do in this sense is we would have to go into theme, then we click on the drop down of customize, click on edit HTML, and then at this section here, at the head section, so if we go into Google Analytics, you can see it says copy and paste the code in the first item into the head of every web page you want to measure. So by pasting that code that I copied in here, and then going up to this corner here and clicking save, this will add our Google Analytics tracking in here. So that's us now added with our new Google Analytics 4 tracking code. So there's the Google Analytics 4 tracking code sitting in there, added to Google Blogger. So that's the other way of being able to add Google Analytics 4 into Google Blogger without using that relatively user-friendly shorthand code, this one here, that we just simply drop into that settings option in Google Blogger.